Alright guys, now I know the light's probably not the greatest. I can't tell how it is for you yet until I actually get in the house to see this. Hey girl. But what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today is this tool here. Because I got a few things to say about it here. Now, I've been in the market for a machete. And I've tried using a lot of machetes that were really flimsy and thin and just didn't perform as well as I would like. So I picked this up, again, off of Amazon. And this is the cold steel machete. This is called the all-terrain chopper. And I want to love it. I really do. It's a hell of a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be when it shipped. Now this knife is under $20. I believe it was 19 and change. And I'm a Prime member, so of course I got free shipping. And I want to love it. With the way the sheath works, you unbuckle this, you unbuckle here, and you unbuckle here. And it's almost hard to get this blade out because the way the sheath is shaped, that's precisely how the blade also is shaped. So it can be hard to get out. But this is what she looks like. Good to see the spine there. Now I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on the specs of this blade, because if you want those, you can go online and look for yourself. That's not what this video is about. This video, for me, is mainly about the end of the blade here, because I tell you what, there's a lot of steel there, okay? And as you can see, it's not a flimsy knife by any means. It's hard to bend that much steel. But, and I love it. It's sharp. Okay, it comes really sharp. But at the same time, this thing has so much steel at the head that, honestly, guys, it performs more like an axe than a machete. Now, I'm not an axe man. I never have been. I don't really like axes. I have carried them in the past. I have several now, but I would rather use a machete and a saw and a knife. Not really so much an axe person. But this thing, since there is so much steel up here, when you bring it down, especially one-handed, you bring it down, it has so much weight that it performs more like an axe. Because if you can imagine this being a mid-range axe, I mean, look at the length. All right, it's as long as my arm, and if I tuck it up here, it's even longer. Okay, it's got quite a bit of length to it, and when you've got all that weight on all that length, you bring it down. And I'm left-handed and right-handed because of my job. My whole life I've been a lefty, but there's a lot of things that I now do right-handed because I've had to learn to be ambidextrous. So I cut with this left and right. Well, once you get it coming down, it's very sharp. So if it passes quickly through the medium that you're trying to cut, you've got this downward force now, and it's in motion. And it's hard to hold that back. So you have to be extremely accurate. And my recommendation is that if you're going to buy this as a bushcraft knife and try to use it as a machete, you better be really, really familiar with using an axe with a hammer pole or a double bit axe. Not even anything big or anything really heavy, but you need to be familiar with the mechanics, because you put a little too much heft or a little too much swing into this, it hits your material, it passes through your material, and then once it gets through that material, it's going, okay? You can see that it's made to be used two-handed as well, and I recommend that whenever you can, because once your last cut goes through, and your material gives, you got to have something to stop this with. What I found trying to use it one-handed, and I like to point out, by no means am I weak. I work physically demanding job. I'm self-employed, and I do a lot of lifting, a lot of carrying. It's nothing for me to pick up and carry 200 pounds or more. And I have very strong hands, okay? They don't look it maybe, but I have a very good grip. I have very strong hands. But what I found is part of the problem with this tool is that if you're cutting one-handed, especially overhead, because I was cutting stuff that was up high, once you hit that material, get it maybe one chop, and the second chop it comes through, and then it wants to come down, okay? Now, there's so much weight at the end of it here that when it comes down and you try to stop it, one-handed swing, what tends to happen, and this has happened to me twice today, is you stop, but the downward motion of all this steel does not want to stop, okay? It wants to keep going. And what happens is your grip will fail right here, and this handle will pop sideways. And once it does, that momentum, because it's a snap motion, right? It's like this. So it's a snap motion. And it happens so fast you don't have time to react. So you get the knife here, you try to stop the forward motion, and it will peel off like this. And once it does, you're not in control of that blade. And look at the spin, the motion of spin. Where's it coming? It's coming right back to you, okay? It would be extremely easy, I should say, to severely maim yourself with this tool. Possibly even to the point where it could cost you your life. Now, I've done a lot of cutting with it today. I've taken branches as thick as 3 inches in a single stroke at first. The blade has dulled a bit at the tip because I've been using it. I even have a couple of nicks here. But it's been well used today. It's gone through it's chewed through a lot of wood. It's just heavy. You know, it's really sharp. And I want to love it, but I think it's actually heavier than it needs to be. Honestly, I think you could have less weight and accomplish the same thing with this tool without having it be so damn heavy and possibly even so dangerous. I mean, it flies through just about anything I throw in front of it. Even all this red cedar around here, I've cut a lot of red cedar with it. And it pretty much cuts anything I want it to cut. I feel like it's kind of overkill, to be honest. I do like it. That said, it comes pretty sharp. Not razor sharp by any means, like some, but it's plenty sharp enough, especially given the fact that it's a gravity weapon. Okay, what makes this weapon effective, what makes it work, is the swing. So with as much steel as here, even if this thing is dull, you're going to probably break what you're swinging it at. Yeah, rather than cut it at the very least. Not really a good piece of wood for it. I was just messing around, kind of trying to make some feathers with it. It's kind of awkward to try to make a feather stick with something with this much this heft and this length. But like I said, it's sharp. But anyway, like I said, I like it. I want to love it. There's just a little bit too much meat right there. And if you're not familiar with an axe and bringing an axe down, and sometimes having to bring an axe down and stop short, if you're not familiar with the effort that it takes to break and bring an axe back before you do something you didn't want to do with it, this tool's about like that. I mean, yeah, I want to love it, but it's too heavy. It really is. I feel that it's overkill for a bushcraft knife. It's hard to use one-handed for the simple fact that there's a lot of weight there, and trying to manage it, even for a strong guy like myself, trying to manage that much weight when you follow through, when you're cutting, especially up high. Twice, like I said, it slipped my grip and popped past my thumb and come down from a high chop. I was using it like this, cutting up over my head, and I hit my branch, and my branch went, and the knife, when I tried to stop it, just rolled right off out of my palms, the best way I can tell you. So you have to be very careful, very aware of that. Anyway, it's not a great review. It's just a bit of my opinion on the fact that it's very heavy. Okay, it has a lot of weight, and I think it's too much weight. It's a little bit overkill. But if you guys have one of these, I'd like to know what you think about it so far, because to me it's too much. I'm sure it has its place. I'm sure it has its uses, zombie apocalypse and all that. But as far as a bushcraft tool, I think I'd like something lighter weight. You know, I like Cold Steel products, but they have some other options that are going to be lighter weight, that are going to be more of a bushcraft type of tool. Honestly, to me, this one, I keep calling it a weapon because honestly, to me, that's what this would be, okay? I don't think of this so much as a tool. I think of this as end of the world, shit hits the fan, zombie apocalypse, and you're trying to get out alive. I think of this as a weapon, not as a tool. As far as a tool goes, I think it's overkill. So to me, this would be a weapon class type of blade. But anyway, I'm going to start rambling here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this video short. Thank you guys for being patient with me. Like I said, I know the lighting's probably not great, but I'll check it when I get in the house. This will probably still get uploaded either way. Thank you guys very much for your views and your support, and don't forget, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click all notifications so you get notifications for future videos if you'd like to. And by all means, if you like the video, don't forget to hit that like button, because we got to make the algorithm happy. If you don't like the video, well, hit that downvote button as well. You know, it's on you. All I care about is your honesty. Like it or don't. But, you know, if you have any questions or comments, drop those down below, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you very much.